one of the advanced democracies that could be a positive force. Ecological collapse. We've heard about the world's oceans, the ozone layer, etc. Pandemics, those that are engineered and those that occur normally because of our relationship to solar activity, which may make extraplanetary interventions from causing those. Earth changes, vast earth changes in terms of earthquakes, the migration of planets, the moving of the tectonic plate systems. Is this the outcome of solar cycle 24, where there's an alternative vision? It's kind of that glass half empty and the glass half full, or rose-colored glasses, and that is peaceful conflict resolution. What if human consciousness is shifting during this period such that the permanent war economy cannot manipulate us into war, and instead our political systems move to peaceful conflict resolution as a modality? The emergence of new forms of world public order, which are positive, not kind of the New World Order of the Third to Fourth Reich variety. The emergence of money as a public utility. Right now, money is actually the private property of a very small group of people. The dollar bills, the US dollar until now has been the reserve currency for the world. But the dollar bills that you have in your pocket are actually the property of the Federal Reserve Bank. You only have a temporary license to use them. And the Federal Reserve Bank, according to a 1976 US Senate subcommittee study, which we have online, just Google 9/11 War Crimes Tribunal, the Federal Reserve Bank is actually beneficially owned by one family, and that's the Rothschild family, which is headquartered in London and France. So, and these are, you know, this is a very grounded study which was done of the ownership of the banks that in turn own the Federal Reserve System. So we have one family that owns all of the currency in the world, and the currency itself is private property of that family. Well, in fact, money should be a public utility like electricity or like water, and with public central banks then, if you wanted to start a business, well, the bank would just provide money to you in the same way that it provides electricity to your workshop, and water to and public transportation. So there's a whole transformation that can happen with regard to money. Ecological energy. Right now, the black budget economy runs on the basis of teleportation, and that's a very efficient transportation mechanism. We've built these concrete roads, which takes away all of the green space. Cities are designed around the automobile, and we're using explosions and polluting fossil fuel to move these hunks of steel, heavy hunks of steel, to transport maybe one or two persons. Well, teleportation is an actual mechanism now. And if you go to examiner.com, I've got a column there. Just enter my name in the search, Alfred Webre. And this past week, we released an article which is now the #1 political examiner article in the USA. It's at the top. It's being read more than any political examiner article in the US, and that is where 2 whistleblowers have now come forth and confirmed that they have teleported from Earth to Mars and met with Martian extraterrestrials. Both of those whistleblowers are affiliated with Project Camelot. Arthur Newman, who has been using a name to protect himself up until now, Henry Deacon, and Andrew Bishago, who's a colleague of mine in the Mars Anomaly Research Society. So we now have definite proof and whistleblowers, very high level of evidence that teleportation is being employed in the national security state. And that could revolutionize our entire society and will revolutionize our society. I think I can share this because Andrew, my colleague, has now shared it. He was enrolled as a child participant in a DARPA time travel program by the US, which the US, we know definitively now, has had time travel, the ability to time travel either by chronovisors, kind of a television or a three-dimensional hologram that looks at forward and past scenes, and via actual teleportation devices. And Andrew has been to the year 2045, and it's a beautiful Earth. There's a lot of greenery, and the cities are all kind of ecological, and they're concentrated. So we have a peaceful future, say about 30 or 40 years from now, and it's just this transition that we're going through. So there have been people that have been to the future on a physical basis for the United States government, bringing back information from the future to the past to help humanity plan for the future, and it's quite positive. So it's important to stay focused on the fact that we're going toward a positive future, because that way we create it. Now, what we'll be seeing also is that our very DNA, as we speak, is being transformed by cosmic forces, by the galactic center black hole, which is acting as sort of a gigantic laser beam to transform our DNA to be able to handle a multidimensional future in which we are once again interacting with the rest of organized society in the universe, and to also bring us into an era of non-dualistic consciousness. And these are some of the changes that will be occurring, that we're living through now, and will be occurring during solar cycle 24 on an intense basis from 2009 to 2020. So these can be the outcomes of solar cycle 24, a transformation vision rather than a disintegration vision. And it depends where one wants to put one energy and what sort of holistic vision one wants to maintain. Now, we should also talk about the fact that we're going through the plane of the galactic center black hole. If we look at our Milky Way galaxy, it looks kind of like a plant, kind of like a pancake, with a galactic center black hole at the center. It's about 100,000 light years across. There are about 200 to 400 billion star systems in it. And at the center of the galaxy is a massive black hole, about 4 million times the